Yeah, Triple B's in the building. Big Baller Brand supports the NBA buzz and the inside buzz. We with you, man. Triple B style.
Former Houston Rockets guard Chris Clemons was ascending to new heights when he got the right minutes for the Houston Rockets in the 2019-2020 season, his rookie year. Doing what his social media handle entails, at @IDropColdBuckets, he had 6 games with 14-plus points off Houston's bench and made a name for himself in the league as a spark plug off the bench behind one of the greatest scorers of all time in James Harden. I'm Mikey Domagala, and here on episode 37 of Inside Buzz, I'll talk with Chris about that spectacular rookie year, but also what followed, a devastating Achilles injury during the 2020 NBA preseason, and since then he's been waived by the Houston Rockets, even though that occurred when he was just 22 years old. It's been a battle back and he's back to square one, but this isn't new, facing adversity for Chris, as he went undrafted out of Campbell University, even though he averaged 30 points per game, which put him third in the D1 history books. But he's made huge strides, including dominating the NBA G League this year, and in December of 2021, he got a 10-day contract with the Atlanta Hawks. He's averaging 20 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, and 6 assists per game for the Maine Celtics, the Celtics G League team, this season. He's also put up some crazy stat lines, including a 38-point, 14-assist, 15-rebound night, a 37, 10, and 8 night, and multiple other triple-doubles. Alright, Chris, welcome to episode 37. It's a pleasure to have you on Inside Buzz.
Appreciate you for having me, man. It's an honor.
So you've been on an absolute tear in the G League recently. You've been playing great all season, but since that call up to the Atlanta Hawks in late December, you've really been tearing it up. Multiple triple-doubles, plenty of 30-point games. You getting a taste of the NBA again, has that made you even more hungry to get back to the league?
You know, I'm hungrier than I've ever been, man. You know, ever since my Achilles injury, missing that whole year, I've just been eager to get back there, man. Obviously, that's a huge step back, you know, major injury like that. So, you know, obviously, thanks to the Atlanta Hawks, man, for bringing me there and, you know what I'm saying, putting me back in the league for just a little bit, man. So I was definitely thankful for that, man. And, you know, just being there is definitely an extra piece of motivation, I'd say.
And that Achilles injury that you just talked about, for the fans watching, I'm sure they remember in the 2020 preseason, you drain a 3 like always, just like you're playing in the park, backtrack on defense, then you just, that Achilles pops. Take me through that and what was going through your head the second it happened?
You know, it was kind of crazy, man, because me and my trainer were just talking about Kevin Durant and his Achilles injury and, you know what I'm saying, what he was going through and just a couple of days before that. So, you know, I was kind of struggling that preseason. You know what I'm saying? And that 3 it's kind of ironic, man. When I made that 3, I kind of felt like I was, you know, me again and starting to find my step. You know what I'm saying? Backpedaling, just a normal basic play, man. And it just kind of tore on me trying to get back on defense. So definitely a weird play. Hopefully you won't see something like that ever again. You know what I'm saying? So you know, definitely something that was definitely out of the realm of normal.
And how'd your rehab go? Do you feel like you're back 100% with no worries about that happening again?
Definitely not worrying about it. I try not to think about it. You know, I'm stepping out on the floor. But definitely, you know, rehab was long, man, and I just made sure that I did everything right, man. I took my time on every rep. You know what I'm saying? I put in the extra work. And I took my time coming back, and you know what I'm saying, I ended up coming back early, and better than everybody thought I was going to come back. So thank God for that.
In your senior season in college, you averaged 30 a game. That's the third most all-time in D1 history, I believe. Now, you were doubted because you went undrafted, and it's not common that players in college average 30 a game. Do you feel like you're being doubted again, and you're kind of in that same situation where you're fighting for your spot?
Yeah, that's the business, man. Obviously, you know, the odds are against guys who are sub-6, you know, small school, just stacking all that stuff up, man. You know, it's a very competitive field, man, as it should be. So every day you're fighting for your job. So I definitely welcome doubt. You know what I'm saying? I've been doubted all my life. So this is nothing new for me.
And Chris, were there any positives that came out from the injury? Obviously it was devastating, but did it make you mentally stronger? Did it make your game better that you're now down in the G League, really having all this freedom to develop your game as a playmaker? Of course, you could score the ball at will, but do you feel like there's been any positive aspect of it?
Yeah, I mean, you touched on it. Mental toughness that's key, for something like this. Not knowing how you're gonna recover, how you're gonna come back. Um, and it's turned out to be kind of a blessing for me. I'm playing with the main Celtics. Like you said, man, just being able to play and learn, new aspects of the game. I could show that I could do more things than just score on the court. So it's definitely good that I get to show everything in my game.
And in the intro, I mentioned your Twitter and Instagram handle. I believe it's I Get Cold Buckets or something like that. And you were
close enough.
oh yeah, if it's not that, what is it? If it's not that, what is it?
I drop cold bucks, man.
I drop cold. There it is.
Yeah.
But you were doing what I was, trying to lead into. You were doing just that in Houston in your rookie season. 6 games with over 14 points off the bench. What was it like balling in the league after you went undrafted?
It's surreal, man. What I'm saying? Just making it. I'm undrafted, so I had to, fight just to keep my spot. So every time I stepped on the court, man, I cherished every moment of it, man. Obviously playing with guys that I was playing with, the veteran team that we had. I'm the only rookie out there, so you know what I'm saying? So opportunities are gonna come, few and far between. So, just being ready, just when your name is called, man, to be able to produce, man. So it was definitely a fun time in Houston.
Not just regular veterans. James Harden, one of the greatest scorers ever.
Hall of Famers.
You got Russell Westbrook next to you. Tyson Chandler, I believe, was on that team.
Tyson Chandler, yeah.
What?
Green, bro.
Yeah, man.
I had all types of folks, man.
How was it playing with Harden, Ross, and all them? What did you learn from them?
Those guys, they work harder than I've seen anybody work, man. Just watching those guys and how they operate, how they, care for the game, how they, what I'm saying, their attention to detail. It's just, what I'm saying, it's on another level, man. So anything, what I'm saying, that I asked, they gave me all that they can give me, man, all the advice I could ever want, man. So it was a huge honor to be able to play with those guys and learn from them.
And your NBA debut, 16 points, 22 minutes against the Miami Heat. Tell me what comes to mind when you think of that day.
I remember being super nervous. For whatever reason, I was just super nervous, man. But I was also excited, man. You know what I'm saying? First time we put on an NBA jersey. And, it's everybody's watching. Everybody's excited for me. I'm just like, I just want to play good, man. You know what I'm saying? I just want to do my job. I ended up playing great that game. Like you said, man, I shot the ball pretty well, defended pretty well against a good team. So definitely a good showing. So, I mean, I was super happy with that day.
The other day, James Harden. Now, people rag on Harden for not being a good teammate. I mean, he just had a cup of coffee in Brooklyn. Everything that's going on. He just came out. He just came out and said he believes he's one of the best teammates ever, on and off the court. Now, what do you think of the naysayers saying that he's not that?
From my experience, I think he was a great teammate, man. I mean, like I said, anything I asked him, he gave me 100% honesty and advice, man. You know what I'm saying? He took me under his wing. He taught me a lot. He took me out. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't ask more of a teammate than him and Russ. So I don't know where that's coming from. Obviously, everybody has their own opinion, but for me, I thought they were great teammates.
You know how these NBA fans are, Chris. I see them all the time in my comment section.
Yeah.
They're just ruthless over the smallest things. The NBA bubble, I mean, I covered that through and through. I watched you with Houston. What was that like going into it, being there and playing in the playoffs in the bubble?
Yeah, I mean, obviously not have my first playoff experience. I wanted that to go, but it was unique. It's obviously different for everybody, being away from your families, testing every day and, what I'm saying, being in a small space, kind of weird. But it was definitely good just to be back on the court, what I'm saying, after a long time off. And, I'm saying, just getting to see the guys and trying to get our chemistry back. definitely weird for a lot of teams, you know. So, it was interesting, I would say. Wouldn't want to do it again, but it was, it was definitely all right. It was all right, man. I don't know.
And based off you not wanting to do that again, what were the positives or the negatives about it?
And obviously, the positives is that we got to play, and that's what everybody ultimately wanted. We just all wanted to play, and that turned out great. Obviously, we played for a good cause. That's when the Black Lives Matter thing was going around, and still is. And we were able to use our platform, as a voice, and everybody kind of tuned in and watched that, and it was good for the movement as well. So, definitely a huge positive there. Like I said, man, just negative part is just you're away from your family for a while, man, and you're kind of in a small space, sort of. You know what I'm saying? So, kind of seeing the same things over and over again is kind of hard for people, especially me. So, what I'm saying? That's just pretty much the only negatives about it. Testing every day is kind of tough.
As a shooter yourself, do you think the line of sight thing was true?
The line of sight thing, that's the first time I heard of that.
Oh, really? It's like almost like since there's no fans in the background. This is a big thing people were talking on social media. No fans in the background and no distractions that they saw the rim better or something like that.
I guess now that you mentioned, people did shoot great. Now I think about it. I mean, Dort, he had like 30 on us in in the playoffs. It was like back-to-back games doing that. So I was like, I don't know. I guess. I mean, they might have a point with that. I don't know. But fans, I mean, not having fans there is, people do play better without the distractions, I say. You can hear more things. You hear your coach's calls. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a different aspect. You know what I'm saying? You don't have the luxury of playing at home in the playoffs, so or the disadvantage of not playing at home. So it's just pretty much neutral site games, and what I'm saying, it can go either way that way. You know what I'm saying? So
in the bubble and even in that whole rookie season, you face off against great teams, great players. Did you have a starstruck moment in the league?
no, no, I didn't. You know what I'm saying? I don't really look at guys as idols. I kind of just look at them as competitors and guys I'm trying to just compete against and learn from on a day-to-day basis. So I wouldn't say I was ever starstruck with anybody.
Interesting, because that's a big question I usually ask my guests, and a lot of them do tell me when they're rookies that they were starstruck by LeBron or Kobe or something.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it was definitely interesting watching LeBron in LA. I will say that. Wouldn't say starstruck, but we did win that game, so that was great.
The Atlanta Hawks, like we mentioned before, saw your value in December. If the Boston Celtics or even any other team was watching right now, what would you tell them that you could bring to the table and why they should sign you?
Whoa, that's a good question, man. I think I'm a unique player, man. So I just think energy is one of the huge things that I brought to the table in Houston. Shooting, obviously, and now that I've kind of found my way in the rebounding and the playmaking thing, I think I kind of have more facets of the game than I ever had, or have ever showed. So I think I'm just a better player all around now than when I was a rookie. So definitely something to look forward to.
You being a small guard, 5'9", who were some players you shaped your game after growing up?
I was a huge Allen Iverson fan, man. So I watched him all the time, man. Highlights, games. Never got to see an actual game in person, but that's pretty sad. But I watched IT for a while. Obviously played against him a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago. There's not too many smaller guys you can kind of mirror your game after, NBA. So that's kind of a few. I watched Ish Smith too. He's kind of in the middle in there. So couple guys.
I also got to give a shout out to Kevin Martin of JCK 540 Sports Group for setting this up. Now, Chris, why did you select him to represent you?
Jamie Knox and John Spencer, they're kind of my main two agents that I talk to. Obviously, Kevin, I talk to every now and then. Like you said, man, we're kind of a whole group type of thing. So just them being close to home. Obviously, they're in North Carolina. John Spencer's in North Carolina. Jamie's Atlanta. Now he's in North Carolina. So that was huge for me. And the fact that they were honest. You know what I'm saying? They were honest. I felt like they were going to work harder than anybody for me. I think they knew my game more than anybody else did. And I thought they could play into, what I'm saying, how they could market me and as a player, more than I thought anybody else could. So that's just the main things, man, that I was looking for in an agency. So definitely these guys were a good choice.
And I spoke to Kevin recently. Tell me about your love for spades and how good you are. So how much time do you put into the game? And he also told me about the tournaments you set up. So in the future, how do you want to become a professional?
I don't know. I don't know if they did. I would for sure. I mean, I'm probably the best spades player that's ever walked the face of the earth. I mean, I don't know. However, I did for my birthday. I did host a little spades tournament in North Carolina. Hopefully going to do that again this year. Ended up losing. It was kind of sad in the championship. Didn't get any cards. Not my fault. But I love the game. I play it like every day. I had the apps. You know what I'm saying? We played spades in the bubble. We're playing all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely love the game. Like I said, man, yeah, I'm probably the best. That's best in the league, best in the world. And anybody can get the action if they want, man.
And who did get that action with the Rockets? Who was good?
James is pretty good. Russ was okay, I would say. PJ plays a lot. Coach D'Antoni played a lot. They would play that on the plane. Ben McLemore, we played. Trying to think of a couple guys, man. Gary Clark, we used to play. It was actually a couple guys, man. You know what I'm saying? I was obviously better than everybody else, like I said, but everybody else will tell their own different story.
As you said, you're the best to walk this earth, so I wouldn't doubt you on that. And Chris, tell me about you getting your jersey retired at Millbrook High School, what that means to you, and also donations that you've given back to your hometown team.
Yeah, got my Millbrook shirt on right now. Obviously, retired my jersey, retired at Campbell too. The same weekend. It was one of the best weekends of my life, back-to-back days. So, yeah, but Millbrook, I definitely do their uniforms every year. That was, I guess, starting last year, I started doing that. So I do their uniforms and, shirts and all types of stuff here and there, kind of chip in. Our girls are in the Final Four of the state championship, this year. So I started doing the girls' jerseys too this year. So, and they're having a great season. Obviously, Final Four. I think they play on Saturday. So I'm working on hosting a couple tickets for the fans to come and go see them play. So no excuses. So hopefully they win.
And then going forward, do you have any more philanthropic efforts that you plan on doing? Either with your high school or even your hometown outside of that.
I'm definitely working on it. What I'm saying, like Jamie, our agency is good on finding ways to give back, and Rhonda Marie is she's really good at that. I talk to her all the time about how different ways we can kind of help other people. Whether it's food drives or back to school stuff, and there's just not a lot of that in North Carolina. And I feel like, I could be a good candidate to bring that, year after year and, have something good going on in the city.
I'd love for you to tell me about your younger sister. I believe she's the younger sister. How good is she at basketball, and does she have a pro basketball future?
Well, yeah, she's playing for the girls team right now. She's in the Final Four.
Okay.
She's knocking down threes. She's come up clutch, here in the playoffs. So I don't know if she wants to play professionally. She's a little bit smarter than everybody else in the family. So I think she's on her own, like, entrepreneur type thing. She runs her own business. Shout out to Essential Touches, which is her business. Go follow them on Instagram. Body scrubs, all that type of stuff. But it's great. I use it too. I got, stuff on my face now from it. It's great. But yeah, she's a little bit smart, man. I think she just wants to, you know what I'm saying, run her business and, you know what I'm saying, go to college and do whatever she wants to do. You know, sky's the limit for her.
And then for you, if you weren't an NBA player, just thought of this off the top of my head, what would you have been?
To be honest with you, I mean, this is not great advice, but I didn't have a backup plan. I would advise everybody to have a backup plan. I was like, I'm going full steam ahead with this basketball thing. You know what I'm saying? So there's no B option here. So that's definitely a good question. I did end up graduating and got my degree in business administration. So I probably would have ended up doing something with that, wherever that is, or coaching. Might have ended up being a coach, honestly. That might have been fun.
Lastly, Chris, when we look back on this interview 1 to 2 years from now, what do you wish to accomplish in that time?
Hopefully I'm in the league, full time, and you know what I'm saying, I found a spot where I can be just consistent, you know what I'm saying, get a deal and be working my way up, man. You know, that's the goal. Just baby steps right now. So 2 years, that should be the thing.
Well, everybody on the NBA Buzz Inside Buzz side of things are rooting for you. That was Chris Clemons. I'm Mikey Domagala, and that was episode 37 of Inside Buzz. Chris, I appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you.
For all the fans watching, you can listen to all Inside Buzz interviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or subscribe here on YouTube.